The fattest wallets swing the heaviest bribes. Lining senators' jackets with reason to lie. The macho stands of proletariat tones. Democrats have their hidden thrones. Oligarchs swing their skeleton keys while the innocent starve in the land of the free. Whoa, 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 whoa. Buffets thrown by broad country built on life. Fathers died for liberty, but for the price oligarchy. Buffets thrown by brides from countries built on lies. Our fathers died for liberty, but for the price oligarchy. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're not in control. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're not in control. Deadly turn the middle class on the pole. Lucky sends the strongest sons off the war. Hollywood boys bleach onto our eyes. Subdue the masses with terrorist guys. It's all you want, you gotta play to play. In this twisted game, voting then you break. Resources are prey, turn the whole world great. The common tragedy destroys the common today. Whoa, 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 whoa. Puppets shown by bright new countries built on life. Our fathers died for liberty, but for the price of liberty. Puppets shown by bright new countries built on life. Our fathers died for liberty, but for the price of liberty. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're not in control. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're not in control. They own the system, no compromise. 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 We're born out of hunger, your dreams were in our ears, and we bled through for promises year after year. But now we're angry and the Congress should fear. I'm not in control, but my goals and my fear. They fired their engines to platinum guns, but millions of arrows can blot out the sun. They fired their engines to platinum guns, millions of arrows can blot out the sun. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're not in control. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're not in control. Whoa, get back in line.
People still owe money. People still owe money. No. People still owe money. People still owe money.
It looks to me as though you learned to love your prison. I guess you'd say you made it your own. Freedom's such a difficult decision. I bet you finally feel like you're home. Home.
Right in the center where the haves meet. You were proud of incremental half speeds. You were getting down in the AOC dance line, hands tied, nodding to the backbeat. You'll Secret Service dive in front of any representative alive, being asked for the very bare minimum. And you'll turn into that same kind of hard right villain you detested should we mention they could ever muster maximum. Cause liberal denial's such a lofty ataraxia, where morals take a back seat, not up in the cab, but in hidden panels made by federal human traffickers. If you trust the autopilot, then you're just a sleeping passenger, passively accepting that it isn't us the bastards serve, making peace with all the evil walking on this rancid earth, seeking unity with those who bound your hands at birth, glancing up at fascists on a bloody dais thinking they just need a push. Not a holy man, but I'm praying for a burning bush. Yeah, I know you'd love to look away, but love, you need to look. There There are many massacres the country manufactured that will never make the books. Now here's your fucking hook.
It looks to me as though you learned to love your prison. I guess you'd say you made it your own. Who knew that freedom's such a difficult decision? I bet you finally feel like you're home.
Home on the range of excuses. Justify some fracking, water down pollution, paint a fresh coat of bipartisan charm over backroom collusion. Your consent is being manufactured by illusions, marketing executives in federal seclusion, working day and night to keep you just the side of lucid, and too beat down for calling out abuses. So fuck all these progressives who can speak on revolution once they empty all your powder out and spit on all your fuses. I prefer to judge a leader not by quality of tweets, but the six-figure book deals she chooses. Donors he betrays, and donors that he'd gladly take a bullet before he refuses. Slogans he reuses, buzzwords he produces, then he spews like mucus. Well, two can play at that. So here's the inner dialogue of every time I snap, and it's fine-tuned to ruthless, and saying politics are useless. Just a bunch of loose lips tweeting cute shit, power suits, taxpayer booze trips. Bunker at the ready when the shoe flips, and there will be no news clips. There will just be
People still owe money. People still owe money. No.
It looks to me as though you learned to love your prison. I guess you'd say you made it your own. Who knew that freedom's such a difficult decision? I bet you finally feel like you're home.
People still owe money. People still owe money.
He can't even do any wrong. If he even does wrong, do wrong, do wrong. Do wrong, do wrong. He can even every piece of me. He can even do wrong. Do wrong, do wrong. Do wrong, do wrong. Do wrong, do wrong. Do wrong, do wrong. Do wrong. Do wrong.
In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, We did some things that were wrong. We did a whole lot of things that were right.
We've taken control of the oil in the Middle East, the oil that we're talking about.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create.
We choose truth over facts.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. The foothills of the Himalayas.
Television. See what people are saying.
We are fighting Satan himself.
Journalists, ask them the question! Ask them! Ask them! Ask them!
Agreed that everybody wants to stay inside this. Anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry. America's dead.
America is indeed dead, folks.
It's dead as fuck, and so is Canada.
Yeah. New world, new psyop. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good considering I'm Canadian and I had it a fuckload ago. But
mine wasn't too political. I'm actually fairly surprised. Actually.
Really?
Yeah,
I will say
people shut the fuck up, and there was not a lot of politics talk.
I have a theory about that because I've heard that from a lot of people where it was like oddly quiet. I think liberals specifically, and probably some conservatives, I think they know deep down they're kind of taking like this isn't the greatest like take here.
No,
So
they're losing the propaganda war for sure.
yeah, so they're like hiding their support just because they don't want to get like flayed alive at the turkey table.
Yeah,
when someone like busts out the receipts.
That I had all these bookmarks saved of all these like dying like kids and women and people and parents and doctors, and I was just ready to bust them out anytime someone was like ready to. I was locked and loaded for Thanksgiving, and I ended up not having to do anything. So I'm happy about that regardless. But like I agree with you, there was some sense of like a hide and Biden strategy, like kind of like what they did in the 2020 elections, where like this looks too bad, let's just escape it from public view, so that way we can just print it, we can just pretend it doesn't exist, and that way we can fly away and get away with it.
That's basically what they have to do because because enough of them by now have run into enough content or at least interacted with enough people that they realize like if just one person at that table is even remotely educated on this issue, they're going to look like not only a complete idiot but a fucking sociopath.
Yeah,
because that's how you can frame this, because you can literally put it as in like, hold up, you're supporting what? Are you aware of what you're supporting right now? This is what you're supporting right now. Okay? This is what you are putting your energy into manufacturing consent for. And I never get your YouTube notifications. Yeah, that's because they're onto us.
So okay, so like first of all, we got demonetized, so like that's definitely pushing us down a lot. I know there's a bunch of shit that we can't do anymore. Like we used to be able to put like chapters in, and like I know that we used to be able to put in like hashtags, and it used to all work. And then we used to like usually be able to get on like front page of a lot of shit, like especially like even on my own personal. Now I don't see it at all. So it's definitely there's definitely ever since the demonetization that really, I mean, hopefully that comes back in like a couple months. But that was all over the video title was like, "Don't condemn Hamas." And literally, there's a Breonna Jordan Gray video of nearly the same exact title of it. I wish I could show the tweet if I had it loaded up, but like, it's nearly the exact same, and yet her videos are still up, and it's fine. Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
I uploaded it. I didn't even like finish uploading it, and it didn't even like finish processing before they just fucking dunked the whole thing, and then they demonetized us for 3 months over a fucking video title, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking ham.
I think the difference, and of course, all roads lead back to capitalism, but I think the difference is that Brianna Joy Gray makes the money. These people with big channels, they've got like an account manager they talk to over at YouTube. They've got like a personal customer success human to some degree or another.
So I was thinking, like, at what point do you get like a YouTube representative? And I was thinking like maybe like 100K, because it's definitely not it. I know people who are like under 50K who don't have that special representation, but there's definitely people over 100K who have it, and there's a 100% people over 1 million who have it. So
I think if I were I to hazard a guess, because I don't know, and if anybody does know, feel free to correct me. I've been on plenty before.
What's her name?
I don't think it's like subscribers or views or any of that. I think it's were I to hazard a guess, just based on me, working in these kind of spaces before, especially in CX and shit. Usually goes by like LTV, so like how much money you're making the company. It gets to a certain point where like you get your personal special little person, and it's that makes a little more sense to me, at least, because all those people who do have a shitload of followers, but they get demonetized and they get
It probably depends on like how palatable you are to advertisers. It's probably like a matter of your content too, which is like, I imagine a lot of this content is not getting friendly to advertisers, but
yeah, because the majority of these people
that are like, I don't know, small companies or something, local companies that are like cool and that are like not, government fronts, CIA bots.
Yeah. I mean, if you see them, they're usually the PMCs, even the ones that are more left than the other ones. Usually the PMC types are pretty safe. They're kind of in the middle, to the point where they don't really threaten anything. They're still kind of advocating for status quo. They're still giving out reactionary takes, like they're everyone on Twitter. Sorry, I didn't have a better reference.
Yeah. I was like, wait, where were we talking about? Which group are we talking about?
Yeah, it's usually just the PMC types, like Brandon Joy Gray, all of them. They're pretty safe. They're safe, right? Even if they do have like a spicy take.
There's always the one every once. So I will say that, like, it wasn't Thanksgiving, but on Saturday I went to like this Thanksgiving party, and there was one Zionist there. She said she had family in Israel, and that she was against like the bombing. So like, I'll show this a little bit later about like how there's like protests in Netanyahu's house. But like, she's one of those Israelis that are like, oh, like Netanyahu's like, he's doing an inhumane job. Like, we shouldn't be bombing, but like Hamas are terrorists, and like, that was a massacre. Like, the kind of like the both sides, like the David Pacmans of the world, the Destinies, the ones that are trying to like both sides slide you back into the Israel side, into being like, hey, look at all these hostages, and
Yeah, you're straight up. I'm sorry. This is really simple. If you're trying to both sides of shit, then you picked your side, because it's not.
Yeah,
this isn't something you can compare two sides to. You can't at all. If you have any fucking understanding of history, and I know 90% of the people who are both sides in this fucking don't, but if you have any understanding of the history here, there is no way to both sides this. It is ridiculous. You are just basically choosing your side, and I respect you less for that, because you don't even have the balls to stand with that side. You're trying to make it this like, you're trying to obscure everything and kind of hide in the middle, instead of like just picking one side and just standing by it.
Yeah, that's what I hear from like family members. It's like, And for one, like they're not even Jewish; they're just like Christian, like Eastern Europeans. And I asked them, I'm like, but like, so, so like, what do you think about all of this? They're like, oh yeah, there's a both sides to everything. It's not, everyone's corrupt, everyone's like, everyone's bad, blah blah blah, and like kind of like running with that narrative about like how like kind of it's like everyone's bad, and even that's like kind of like a cop out. It's like very much like just yeah, that still at the end of that justifies a current genocide, which
Yeah, and the thing is too, you have to be so fucking reductive. You have to ignore so much
a
to
lot,
arrive
a lot.
at that like, oh yeah, there's like bad guys on both sides. No, bro, you're fucking
Like, you've
you're
lost.
either the least educated person in the room, whatever room you're in at the current
And it's their
moment,
brain work.
or yeah, or you fucking know you're choosing the wrong side, and you probably don't want to piss off your chud friends, which let's face it, this is probably all this is about. You're seeing a lot of people that you're buddies with because they accidentally had the right take on COVID, and now you're afraid you're going to alienate all of them because they're all screaming Bush era terrorist nonsense. And
Oh my god, yeah, it's exactly like you said, dude. It's like we're back in 2003 again.
it's 2003. We're back there.
All over again, and you're not
I
even
fucking hate this.
dude. It's crazy how the resemblance. But anyway,
And you point it out to people. Here's the funniest part. I've done this enough times to actually kind of read the room on this shit. You point this out to them. You draw the parallels. You draw the parallels to how like lazy and exact the propaganda is. They're not even trying new propaganda. They're doing the old propaganda.
It's off the passport.
Recycled.
Even
You point it.
passport.
You point it out to them. You point this fucking shit out to them, and they're like, no, it's so different. Here's why. And the here's why is them regurgitating more recycled propaganda.
It's crazy. It's insane.
It's so dumb.
Point.
This is what I hate about tribalism, because so many people are forced to they're forced to go along with their narrative in their tribe, and they're unable or unwilling to just see like how terrible it is. They're unwilling to do so because they don't want to lose the tribe. And this is how the ruling class always gets people. They always get people out of exploiting that human fear of alienation, of getting kicked out of the tribe, of losing your group, because that's hardwired in us. Because one person doesn't get anything done unless you're Joe Biden, and then that's falling down on camera. But like a group of people get shit done. So your fear, because that's the only way we evolved and got to where we are, where we're destroying the planet. That's one of our greatest fears. And so they exploit that every single time with this, because I see a shitload of people who, if it were like conservatives, if it were liberals doing this, if it were liberals in the other boat, they would be completely on the other side of it. And we saw that with the Ukraine war, for example.
Oh, yeah.
They were correctly pointing out the propaganda. They are correctly drawing parallels to past propaganda. They have the tools to do this. But the second it's switch and their tribe's doing it, all the blinders come up. And it's so fascinating.
I have to link you like a bit. So I also recommend to like mostly everyone. There's a really good James Corbett documentary about. He goes about like through like the history of like media, or like the history of like mass communication. He like starts with like the Gutenberg press and all of that, but like he gets to like the TV and like sort of like how like the television is able, like just like being in like the passive like state of what's it called, like sympathetic. You're, I don't know, whatever the two states are.
Hold on.
The neurosympathetic and the neuro, like it activates your neurosympathetic nervous system. So like there's dopamine coming into your brain, and it's basically like activating a programming.
Oh,
And
your
how, like,
sympathetic nervous system.
yeah, the neurosympathetic
Your
nervous system. So like it's
yeah.
so what the television and what you're doing is like when you're watching something is like it's literally programming into your brain, especially the news. Like it's literally because you see a lot of the repeated messages and a lot of the same like phrases and signs all over and all same coverage all over and over and over again. That's how that happens. You get the illusionary truth effect, and then
Mhm.
it's literally programmed into you, and in a way that like most people I can't even explain it fully. But I'll link that documentary on Twitter.
It
But you
the
want to get
key
into
is to get the key is to get an emotional response that creates a dissonance of some kind, a discomfort. And then from there, what they need to do is they need to point to something to alleviate that. That's always, if you look at all propaganda, that's kind of the thing. Here's where you should feel emotions, and then there's an arrow pointing towards what your conclusion should be. That's how most emotional manipulation works, to be perfectly honest. So
it's probably a
fe-
mixture of that too.
feel bad for Jewish people, remember Holocaust, blah blah blah, and then it points to you got to
Yeah, the
be
bloody
okay
victims.
with you got to be okay with bombing some hospitals, man.
Come on,
Come
it's Hamas.
on.
The hospitals are
That's
Hamas.
they're all Hamas. The
Right.
bricks are Hamas. You didn't
The bricks
realize that Hamas can shapeshift into bricks because they fucking can, dude. They
Hamas
can
is
shift into
everywhere.
babies.
Hamas could be your uncle. Hamas could be your grandma for all you know.
You are
Grandma could be
breathing in.
Hamas, and you don't even know it. So I would go check right now. I would call your family members, and I would just go check to make sure. I'm serious. Like this
You
is
know what? Just
this is
don't
a
even
good
take
way-
a chance.
this is a
Just
good way to
fucking
test, like,
bomb them.
this is a good way to test like how psychopathic your family members are. Just give them a call and be like, "Hey, you aren't secretly Hamas, are you?" And like just see like how like schizophrenically they can like respond to you, and like that you'll use that like as a measurement to see like how lost that they are. So
Jesus Christ. If someone called me up, I would yes and their ass so hard. I'd just be like, bro, you have no idea. Everybody, dude, all of us,
yes,
all
of
of us
course.
actually, we're all involved. We were just waiting to tell you because we needed to decide like if we were gonna let you live, we're gonna let you die, we're gonna fly you in a helicopter. Like we're trying to figure. I would yes and it to the point where the person would have to hang up on me because I'd be leaning too far into the bed. That's how that would go. I would be like, yeah, you ever wonder why I started growing a beard? Like I would
What's
fucking
up, my fellow jihadists? How do you do?
yeah, I would oh my god, I would have so much fun. They would like
Oh,
I
that's
might
Halloween costume. Fuck. Oh man, that was a dope.
Hamas.
Fuck yes. Why didn't I do that?
Probably a good idea. What if someone like I don't know. I'm just looking back to all this psycho shit from 2003 and it's like what if someone actually mistakes you for Hamas and you get like
Yeah, that's why I love like going back and like watching like all these like 9/11 documentaries.
oh my god, it's so
and, like,
weird.
well, I mean, there's so much stuff that like people there's no more answers to. But like you want to get to the latest psyops of the week?
Yeah, let's get to the latest psyops of the week. I'm here for it.
All right. Let me load up this presentation here.
Are you guys ready for the latest psyops of the week?
This is number 1 here. Let me get a better view.
Destroying Ukraine for no reason.
Destroying Ukraine for no reason.
It's just that.
Well, I mean, you know what? We're saying it out loud now. I mean, this is the cop out, right? This is like when you're losing and it's becoming very obvious. Like we've spent $400 something billion. They've achieved maybe like a block of what they've lost back in their like counteroffensive, and they're losing like 650 men a day. That's a light estimate, by the way. 600 to 800. I was seeing like 600 to 800 men a day. No, it's probably like pregnant women and like old like men on like dialysis. That's like all. That's all their army is. So they're asking for 10,000 people in the meat grinder a month, and that it's just not in the money. There's just no cards for it. They're at this point.
It's like to anyone who's played World of Warcraft, it's like Alterac Valley at the end when like one side is winning and all the noobs just keep piling up to try and turn the tide, but they just keep getting mowed down and they're like right like 5 feet in the base. It's kind of that's where we're at here, people.
I can't imagine spending like you can't even $451 billion and hundreds of thousands of men for a block of land. That doesn't seem like a good deal. That doesn't seem like a great deal. And I don't know. I remember this peace deal coming up back in the day. Well, that's great. Let me just play this video because this is sort of crazy. This is from Kyle and Zone because we know now that after 20 months of the war, Ukraine's Western backers are discussing Kiev's opening dialogue with Moscow. Since the talks in the early months of the conflict, Russia has annexed 4 regions of Ukraine. They got everything they want. They got the Donbass. They got Crimea. They have everything connected to the sea. They have everything they needed. And it was just like we said 2 years ago. They're taking the Donbass. They're taking Crimea. They're taking the Russian population-speaking people. And that's it. There's still people out here saying that Putin wants to conquer the world, and they're serious. And it's been like a year and a half. Meanwhile, we're over here funding a war with a fucking genocidal maniac who's killed more kids than Putin has in a year and a half. More kids in any conflict in the past like 3 decades.
But this is
insanity.
This is how it always plays
on the table. But yeah.
This is how it always plays out. You see the tides start to turn with these sort of things, but if you'll notice, the tides always turn, like the narrative shifts, after one group of fucking donors or another gets their huge payday. So at this point with Ukraine, they don't mind kind of letting the cat out of the bag because the military industrial complex has already been, oh my God, like
they ran away stock clean with your tax money. So let me ask you, like, you're a U.S. taxpayer, not you specifically, but like in the audience, as a U.S. taxpayer, you are actively so this is the deal that they're presenting to you. Hey, we just need a couple of your tax dollars because remember we covered that video where he was just like, oh, Zelensky's like, oh, just give us some credit, we'll pay you back. We pay you back with the credit. They're begging for our tax money. And imagine me coming up to you and being like, hey, listen, we really need your help. We just need a couple $100 billion and I know that it's been a year and a half and that we've only gotten this one block back and that there's no hope left and that you're running out of shells and you're running out of military equipment and that there's no money left and there's another war going on that you're more dedicated to. But please how about you give me $450 billion and then I go and throw hundreds of thousands of men in the meat grinder into a wall, essentially, and then just destroy my country.
Can I have some money to fuck up my country? That's not a great pitch.
So this doesn't this was from the beginning a very confusing. Like we told everyone that this wasn't happening. Ukraine didn't stand a chance. Everyone from Scott Ritter to the fucking Douglas MacArthur, who I don't always trust because he says some wild shit about Turkey. He said everyone trusts that Douglas MacArthur guy, but he thinks Turkey's some power. They're gonna invade Israel or something like that. He's, I don't know, some crazy wild shit.
It's a little on the weird side, but
Just imagine throwing away your country. So this came out over the weekend.
Bad.
This is the top official. This is the truth, folks. This is the top official of Ukraine.
This is the honest to dog truth.
Honest, he's high up in the ranks, folks. This is not a Russian Putin puppet. Okay, this is a Zelensky trusted official. Okay, listen to this.
Коли ми повернулися зі Стамбулу, приїхав Борис Джонсон до Києва і сказав, що ми взагалі.
So, remember that Turkey peace deal back in June?
Не будемо з ними нічого підписувати. І давайте будемо просто воювати.
Let's make war.
Києва і сказав, що ми
Let them eat war.
We won't sign anything. And for what? For what exactly?
До особового складу Збройних сил України. Він сказав, що стоїть підпис керівника делегації. Так Путін стверджував.
Чомусь він не оприлюднив цей документ. Ви звернули увагу?
Так.
Вони дійсно майже до останнього сподівалися, що вони нас дотиснуть на підписання такої угоди. Щоб ми взяли нейтралітет. Це було найбільше для них.
Taking neutrality? I thought Putin wanted to conquer the world.
Yeah, that's not a really good world domination strategy. That's like you wouldn't play that way in Civ, would you?
Wait, so you're telling me the evil dictator Putin Hitler stash wanted to conquer, and instead he signed a peace deal that was just telling them to be neutral? Wow.
Wait, and you mean the actual world conquerors told Ukraine not to do it? Weird.
Wow, we
Guys,
really so we could have done this. We could have handled this 900 miles of land ago.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like they always project, because the actual people who want to take over the world they have to project that onto any other faction. They're the ones that want to take over the world. Putin wants to take it over. And of course, we all know what's underneath all of this. It's the boogeyman of the West. It's the shadow of the USSR. This is just like leftover Red Scare shit. That's all this has ever been. And that's all it ever will be.
Now it's Putin and Hamas.
Yep.
Putin and Hamas. Now there's a lot of talk going around about Putin and Hamas ganging together. I don't know about that, but
I'm just waiting for conservatives to be like, Hamas wants to bring back the USSR.
Well, apparently, did you see that tweet? Like, they released a Russian hostage because they were like thanking President Putin. So you have Hamas simping for Putin out in public. I don't know how that's going to roll out. They were ready to end the war and they just wanted neutrality.
Закінчити війну, якщо ми візьмемо, як Фінляндія колись там, нейтралітет і дамо зобов'язання, що ми не будемо вступати до НАТО.
Тільки один пункт.
Фактично, ключовий пункт був цей. Все інше там косметичні політичні приправки, типу про денацифікацію, російськомовне населення і бла-бла-бла.
Чому Україна не погодилася на цей пункт?
По-перше, для того, щоб на цей пункт погодитись, треба змінювати Конституцію. Наш шлях до НАТО записаний в Конституції. По-друге, немає довіри, і не було, і немає росіян, що вони це зроблять. Це можна було тільки зробити, якщо є гарантії безпеки. Ми ж не могли щось підписати, відійти, всі б там видихнули, а потім вони б зайшли більш підготовлені. Бо вони зайшли насправді не підготовлені до такого супротиву. Тому ми могли тільки працювати, коли є 100% впевненість, що це не повториться вдруге. А такої впевненості немає. Більш того, коли ми повернулися зі Стамбулу, приїхав Борис Джонсон до Києва і сказав, що ми взагалі не будемо з ними нічого підписувати.
Wait, there was a peace deal? I thought that was Russian propaganda.
No, it evolved. No, wrong thing.
Hold
sorry.
hold on a second. I had some tanky nut job tell me a year ago that Boris Johnson destroyed a peace deal that was already signed between Ukraine and Russia, and he told me, I told him that sounds like Putin propaganda. That sounds like you're a Putin puppet.
Yup.
Is that so? What exactly is going on here?
І давайте будемо просто
We will not sign anything with them. We'll just make war. That sounds like a good way to
There was a peace deal in April 2022. Yeah, and that's exactly the point at which I fell off board with this whole bullshit. Because the second it became completely apparent what they were doing, remembering everything in the past and all the tactics that were employed throughout my long, unfortunate life, you know, that's the point where I'm like, all right, nobody actually gives a fuck. Yeah, okay, I get it. MIC, let's go.
This is it. That's all because of this. All because of this fake clown. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I would. That's just depression. There's no other word for that.
So here's Putin back in June of last year. I've been negotiating.
All right. Russia, President Putin. Russia has never refused negotiations. David Arkrania, head of the Ukrainian delegation peace talks between Russia and Ukraine in 2022, fully confirmed everything we said about the draft peace treaty. Well,
we drafted this treaty initiated by the negotiation group from Kiev. They put a signature there. Oh, wait. I didn't even show it. Fuck. Sorry.
Не комментировали. Этот проект этого договора был парафирован руководителем переговорной группы из
The negotiation group from Kiev, and
поставил там свою подпись.
they signed it. That's a peace deal. That's the peace deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there.
Он есть.
It's there. It's not propaganda.
О постоянном нейтралитете и гарантиях безопасности Украины.
These people don't think it's Putin propaganda.
Именно о гарантиях, о которых вы сказали, уважаемый друг президент Южноафриканской Республики. 18 статей. Более того, к нему есть еще и приложение. Они, знаете, сейчас даже не буду об этом говорить, они касаются и вооруженных сил, касаются других вещей. Все прописано. До единиц боевой техники, до личного состава вооруженных сил. Вот этот документ. Он парафировал.
He doesn't seem to think that's Putin propaganda.
Он киевской делегации. Подпись стоит. Но после того, как мы, как и обещали, отвели войска от Киева, киевские власти, как обычно делают их хозяева, выбросили это все на свалку историю. Скажем так аккуратно и постараюсь интеллигентно выражаться. Дорогие.
To the garbage dump of history. I just love, so I just love
to the garbage dump of history.
There's some things that, I'm not a Putin stan. I'm not Jackson Ankle or something, but some of the things that Putin says is very eloquent. I will say that.
I just think
garbage dump history.
I just think I think the one thing that frustrates the West the most about Putin is in all of his interviews, it seems like he's got the West's number. Seems like he kind of knows how the fucking game's played. Seems to completely know how it's played. Now, that doesn't mean he's good or bad, because you should not be thinking like a child and thinking there's good guys and bad guys in the world, because the real world is a little more complicated than that.
Yeah, it's not.
But I think he's got the West's number. He always calls his shit out, and it seems to frustrate people to no end.
He's
And
got him by
that's-
the balls, dude. Like the best thing they can do is sanctions, and even that is making him as rich as a motherfucker.
Mhm.
The ruble is 4 times as powerful as it was. They're doing better than they were from the beginning of this war. So you want to know where your tax money is going? Here's 2 yachts. This kind of went under the radar, but like there's a lot of people. I can't attest to this 100%, but I want you guys to watch this. I want you to see where you can trace the money and show where your tax money is going.
Hello guys, my name is Shahzad Nasser. I'm here to share an interesting discovery of mine. Okay, so this is Abu Dhabi, the capital of United Arab Emirates, and this is Abu Dhabi Marina. It has hundreds of yachts. Some of them belong to billionaires and royal families, but the yachts that I'm going to tell you about, they don't belong to a royal family member or a billionaire. Please meet Lucky May, a 46-meter yacht built by Italian manufacturer Baglietto.
Note the name of the ship, Lucky Me.
According to this agreement, I have managed to acquire this vessel. Was purchased for almost $25 million by Boris Shifir on October 18, 2023. Boris Shifir has a brother, Sergei Shifir, who, according to this document, acquired another even more impressive yacht, a 55-meter My Legacy yacht. It was built by Italian manufacturer Coda Casa. Here's a description that I found. The yacht with her foredecks features big windows which let the natural light into the interiors and make the exteriors elegant and eye-catching. With her large spaces, she ensures the best comfort and privacy to owners and guests, both inside and outside. A big jacuzzi pool is placed on the sun deck together with a huge sunbathing area. And the yacht was purchased for almost $50 million a week later on October 25th, 2023. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Both Boris and Sergei are Ukrainian citizens. Both are close friends with the president of Ukraine. Both are Zelensky proxies. Here's the photo of Boris. Here's the photo of Sergei. And between them is Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine.
He just looks like a bigger and waterlogged Zelensky.
According to Wikipedia, since May 25th, 2019, Sergei serves as the first assistant to the president of Ukraine. So why do I think that both of Shifir brothers are Zelensky proxies? In business terms, a proxy is an agent acting on behalf of another person. Generally, proxies are used to disguise a person's ownership of assets or mask their involvement in certain business dealings. A leaked documents in the Pandora Papers reveals that Zelensky owned a stake in a shell company registered in the British Virgin Islands, the company called Maltex. In March 2019, just a month before he was elected president, Zelensky he transferred his shares to Sergei Shifir. Also, according to my source, who's been physically present when the My Legacy yacht documents were signed. The yacht was referred to as Zelensky's yacht. So, yeah, it is obvious that a government employee like Sergei Shifir cannot afford to buy a $50 million yacht. But it is possible for someone who's a close friend of the president of Ukraine. Over the last 2 years, US has directed more than $100 billion to Ukraine with virtually no oversight. So it won't be difficult for Zelensky to embezzle a chunk of his money, of this money, and ask your trusted friend to buy a couple of luxury yachts in their names. So after all, he has to get something for himself, right?
Oh my fucking god, that's so good. I love it.
I don't know. That checks out to me. Does that check out to you? That seems pretty verifiable to me.
Absolutely, and these scumbags do this shit all the time.
Yeah, I know. Like, I saw people in the comments, like, so this got community noted. This was like, oh, like, not this video, but like some like tweet that was saying like, oh, these are Zelensky's 2 yachts. And then I went to the replies to go look for more information, and I found this video, and it was like it shows all the sources, it shows everything connected. You can make your own assumptions. I mean, but all the information is there. So I mean, you can only draw your conclusions. Your money went to a $75 million yacht.
Yeah,
$100 million.
it's your tax money, and for the Canadians watching, our tax money too.
Oh yeah,
our tax money too. That shit is going to. I mean, God, it's such a grift that it's not even like this isn't even hard to piece together
grift anymore. It's just begging. It's just pure desperation. We still. This is John Kirby from yesterday. They're still saying this. We have to fight to the last Ukrainian. They're serious about this.
Well, it's hilarious because it's like those aren't, bro. They're not like Pokemon.
That's what they think
people.
they are. It's
and,
like
and they're not. This is like a big Pokemon game, except the trainer's the military-industrial complex, and then the Pokemon are just other countries' fucking people.
It is like that. Oh my god.
Stanislavichu, I choose you.
Oh my god!
Just throw them out there.
Ukraine's like the level 3 Caterpie that they caught. They're like trying to like bring it over to like one of the gym battles, and like there's just like there's no hope. Like,
and Russia's just like a better
my dude. Listen to John.
Supporting Ukraine strengthens our national security. It's the right thing.
Does it? I don't think that's true.
Thing to do, not just for the Ukrainian people.
I don't think that's true either.
No, but always think about it as like Russia bad, Red Scare.
Oh, right.
Specter of communism. That's what's all beneath this. So when you think of it in that way, yes, it does strengthen the national security, according to these fucks, because they need the Western capitalist overlords to continue their dominance at all costs. They can't have any other factions in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So makes sense
but for
on
the
that
American
level.
people as well. Countering Putin's ability to wage war on a neighboring nation may actually prevent a larger conflict in which American troops might be needed. And it sends a strong signal to other would-be aggressors who may be considering military action and invasions of their neighbor's territory that sort of action is unacceptable, and they will pay the consequences. They will be held accountable by the United States and by the international community.
Okay, I guess they're getting a worse deal now than there's no better time to surrender than right now. But there's no chance of that in sight. I don't know what's going to happen. So we'll just wait for BlackRock to come in with the $1 trillion rebuild deal. I think it's already lined up already for BlackRock to come in there and go, turn that shit into a 15-minute city like that.
They're just going to turn the whole country into one big vaccine factory.
Yeah, it'll be like vaccine feudalism. They'll like test all the like vaccines there. That's like where like Fauci and like Bill Gates will like that's where they'll test like their AIDS vaccines and stuff.
It's going to be cricket factories. They're going to be like, all right, Vladimir, we need you to test out this new candy corn cricket we're developing.
All right, let's get to the next psyop here.
Let's do it.
The fake ceasefire. Now, we had over the past weekend, they're still, I mean, apparently there's a 2 days extension now. There's like a 4-day humanitarian pause, which I want to just say is bullshit from the beginning. From the front, is a humanitarian pause means absolutely nothing, and a
Nope.
ceasefire also means absolutely nothing, which I'll get into. But here's a couple of videos of the Hamas hostage release handover. As you can tell, it's not. They're waving goodbye to each other.
They look so scared. Oh my god.
They
Looks
look
terrifying. You're right. These are clearly vicious bad guy creatures that we need to put away with. Fuck.
Maybe it's the masks.
I think it might be
Maybe
the
you gotta change your
masks.
uniform.
What
is
if
it?
what if they tried like clown
Is it the
masks?
green
No, that'd be
beret?
worse.
Is it the color green that scares them?
Maybe the color green, actually. It might be the masks. They should just go and get some like, go to the costume store, get some like, Halloween stuff going on. Maybe get some Marvel masks. That'll be more palatable to the West.
Like Iron Man.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Iron Man, he's the good guy. I'm conflicted now because I have no
Oh yeah, you know what?
convictions or reading ability.
They should just all dress up as like the Times Square like costume, like Disney people, and like just like Mickey Mouse and Iron Man.
Yeah.
Just do
Iron
that.
Man
And then I think people would at least you'd be more accepted at the Thanksgiving Day parade. But here's on the more Israeli side, or rather, as you may not know, there's actually 10,000 Palestinian prisoners that are currently locked up. Mostly children. This was actually a 16-year-old. Norhan, I'm going to butcher that name, was only 16 years old when Israeli cops arrested her in 2015. She was a relative heading to Al-Qassam Mosque when an Israeli cop opened fire at them. Her relative was killed and she was wounded and kidnapped before being charged with a ready charge of attempted stabbing. Now, these people are mostly children. If you're Palestinian in Israel, there's a 99% conviction rate. So the courts are fucked. You're fucked. And mostly it's over like bullshit charges like throwing pebbles or like stepping in the wrong place or really for over nothing. It could be probably over nothing, but just watch a bit of this.
الحمد لله على سلامتك. هاي يا عم بركلنديا. الحمد لله على سلامتها كابور.
8 years.
هاي بيستنوا فيك. الحمد لله على سلامتك.
الله يسلمك.
هاي وصلت الأسيرة.
I mean, yeah, like that like pisses me off. Like, imagine spending your time like you start at 16 in prison and you exit at 22 to meet your parents again. That's fucking horrific. Over like throwing a pebble.
That's horrific on both sides. Like, imagine that. Oh no, I'm both sides in it. That's horrific on both sides. Insofar as like, imagine that for the parents, where like your baby just gets taken away, and that's awful for the kid too, especially when they're developing into a young adult. That's when you need guidance. That's when you need structure, and you're thrown into an environment that chaotic for that long. It's like the shit is done with such like distorted empathy. I can't. It just hurts. It hurts your heart. Can't not hurt your heart. Fuck.
It's terrible. Honestly,
Makes me want to throw chairs. I want to throw some chairs now. At least 3.
I mean, of course, like the IDF, who never has had a history of respecting any ceasefire ever, took the opportunity to, hassle some kids in the West Bank in order to
No, they wouldn't
get their revenge. Here's a video of them firing tear gas and live rounds, waiting for children to be released. They killed 4 kids, aged 14, 15, 16, and 17, while they're releasing the children. They blew up Doctors Without Borders, subjected to heavy airstrikes prior to the implementation of the ceasefire. This is right before.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, this plan was in the works for months. For months. Also in the West Bank, they used bulldozers. There's no Hamas here. There's zero Hamas here.
No.
But this is really it. The really revealing part is that Israel is using a ceasefire as an opportunity to attack the West Bank instead of Gaza, where Hamas isn't there. So it's ethnic cleansing.
Which is hilarious because right there, half your fucking talking points go completely out the window. Because it's like, oh no, but Hamas. It's like, no, you can't even use any of that for this specific thing. So your whole narrative about this whole thing just fell down like a house of cards, a couple houses of cards, maybe 3 houses of cards, like a lot of cards falling down at once. Because it doesn't make sense anymore. And so you've got 2 roads. Once you get to that, you can either double down and just force all these inconsistent things to just make sense in your brain, or just admit you're getting fucking lied to. Okay?
They're supposed to hand over 150 hostages.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally just arresting random Palestinians in the West Bank and putting black bags over their head. So the day that they release 150, they can go arrest 1,500 more. So
this is why I've been side-eyeing all those ceasefire now people. And if you're one of the people saying ceasefire now,
that's the psyop. That's the
no
psyop.
offense, but all the ceasefire now people, well, there's a ceasefire now. This shit's happening. So
you got your ceasefire.
Ceasefires. That's never been enough for me ever.
I feel like
to begin
ceasefire
with.
is like such wrong language that we should be using. That everyone is repeating the same slogan of ceasefire now, but for what? What are we getting out of a ceasefire? Out of a country that is completely unaccountable? What do when there has to be Nuremberg level trials, and that's it. That's the only.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm never going to be to the point of self-cuckoldry where I'm going to just be like, hey guys doing horrible war crimes, can you please stop? Thanks so much. No, you need to fucking demand more than that. You need to demand more than just stop doing this, please. Ooh, no, I'm sorry. That's not fucking enough.
Power concedes at nothing without a demand. So being all pussyfoot about it and being like, oh, just stop fighting. It's more than that. Israel
want everyone to get along.
Terrorizes its neighbors regularly. So immediately you can see the difference between how Hamas treats their hostages versus Israel versus the IDF. Even the Israeli media is turning on them. They were subjected to torture, ill treatment. The food was scarce. There wasn't much food. They're in Gaza. He said Hamas was able to provide medications daily, though not always.
Mm-hmm.
And the captives were kept together and allowed to carry normal activities. They noted this declaration's massive testimony of the previous hostages released.
באבסן, דומה מאוד אגב לסיפור של ליאוך ליפשיץ, באבסן הם ירדו לתוך מנהרה ארוכה של קילומטרים, חלקן עברו אותה על גבי אופנוע, כשאיש חמאס מרכיב אותם על גבי אופנוע במנהרה, אחרות הלכו אותה ברגל, 4-5 קילומטר כנראה לאזור בית החולים של ח'אן יונס, שם רוב הזמן הם הוחזקו ביחד. עכשיו, הם מספרות סיפור, לא התעללו בהם, לא הפעילו כלפיהם אלימות, אוכל היה במשורה, לא היה הרבה אוכל, הם אכלו מעט, גם רואים על הגוף שלהם שכולם איבדו משקל, תרופות, היה ניסיון של אנשי החמאס לתת להם, אבל לא באופן סדיר. זאת אומרת, יום כן היו תרופות, יום לא היו תרופות. היה ניסיון לספק להם את התרופות הקבועות שלהם, לא תמיד זה עבד. אבל הם מתארות סיטואציה שחלק ניכר מהשבי, הם עברו ביחד. כשהם עושים אחד לשני הרצאות, וכל אחד מספר סיפורים, ועושים פעילויות. השהות הזאת ביחד כנראה נתנה להם עוד קצת חוסן לעמוד בתנאים האיומים האלה של חיים מתחת לקרקע בשבי ובחוסר ודאות. חלקן ידעו, שמעו ברדיו במנהרה, על קרובי משפחה שלהם שנרצחו בשבת השחורה. חלקן לא ידעו וקיבלו את הבשורה אתמול בערב מבני המשפחה, שנאלצו לספר להם שחלק מהמשפחה נרצח בשבת הזאת, אבל רוב הקהילה הזאת עברה למקום אחד, ובסך הכל הם מתארות תנאים סבירים. שהם...
So these Hamas terrorists, they kept them underground where they wouldn't be bombed? That's really strange.
Wait, bombed by who? Oh, right.
They were terrorists. Wait, by their own government?
Yeah. Literally. We got to take you over here, otherwise your own people are going to kill you.
Your own government is going to kill you, so we have to seek. That's crazy. That seems...
We're the bad guys, by the way.
Immediately, you can tell the difference between how humane each side is. Just for the record on like the both sides and things. And as predicted, while Israel released 117 Palestinians from their dungeons, they arrested 116 other Palestinians during the time of temporary truce. So, and here's Lee Camp, corresponding to the same thing. Israel's released 117 Palestinian hostages in the past few days, but in the same time, they kidnapped 116 Palestinians. And here they're getting shit for it on Al Jazeera. While Messerine keeps screaming about Israeli hostages, Israel just released 117. Just captured 117.
Bro, this is like trading magic cards. Fuck. Jesus.
Dude, like, why are they so obsessed with like getting the upper game? Like they have to win. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like they can't face any sort of any sort of negotiation or defeat whatsoever.
I think there's an obsession with showing
strength.
Projecting strength. They can't be seen as, like, with a lot of fascist leaning regimes, compromise, empathy, cooperation, this is all regarded as weakness. You can't be projecting that. You have to be projecting that you're the authority and the other people must compromise to meet your demands. You can't be working together with people because you have to project yourself as the alpha and the omega. I think this is what all of this is about. They can't just be like, oh, well, we're gonna be reasonable because these are human lives, and these aren't just they're not just rocks we can toss into the sea. So we're going to be reasonable and we're going to release a bunch of them. No, they have to project an aura of dominance. That would be a really good metal band.
Always the one up.
On the one hand, you have some
Let's play this here.
Palestinian prisoners and minors and women who are being released from Israeli jails. And then on the other hand, the raids and arrests continue right across the occupied West Bank.
That is correct. If you look at what is happening now, what's been happening over the past few days, for every family that is celebrating the return of a loved one, there is a family that is suffering the detention of someone. In harsh terms, if you look at what's happened with regards to the swap deal as a numbers game, the Israelis have released 117 Palestinians in the last 3 days. And at that same time, they've detained 116 new Palestinian prisoners in areas across the occupied West Bank. There have been raids ongoing since last night into this morning. They really haven't stopped ever since the war began. They've intensified. They were ongoing before the events of October 7th. But just in the last 24 hours, overnight, 64 people have been detained and are now in Israeli custody. So these raids, these detentions, this pressure being brought down on the occupied West Bank has not stopped as part of Israel's occupation in these territories. And to that end, these have also been incredibly deadly. At least 239 people have lost their lives in the occupied West Bank, where there is no Hamas, since the events of October 7th.
But Hamas!
Israel often identifies itself as the only democracy in the Middle East. But in parallel, it has to be remembered that Palestinians living under Israeli occupation live under a military rule that exists in parallel to what Israel sees itself as in terms of its democratic values, as it proclaims to be.
But that seems like a ceasefire to me. Is that seems like a real ceasefire?
Yeah. Yeah. It's there's a lot of look, Greg, it's a ceasefire. It's not a cease arrest or a cease torture or a cease. It's not even a cease bomb. Ceasefire.
Do you condemn Hamas?
I will never condemn hummus. I love
What about
that
Hamas?
shit.
Do you condemn Hamas?
Hamas? I love pork butt, so I can't condemn Hamas either, actually.
Why don't you go vegetarian? Why don't you try it out?
Because I like meat too much? I don't know. I'll go listen, if it ever gets to the point where the only protein is the protein we're assuming is gonna be available, then I probably will go fucking vegetarian.
It's terrorist protein. That's what that is. I mean, just to get back to like this whole, so like you're completely correct in saying that like this whole ceasefire now slogan is fed into the narrative as that's a talking point. That's a goalpost, right? You're putting that there for safety in case you're putting it. That's like by people, call for Medicare for all because it's sort of like an overreach into like at least like some sort of like private public healthcare program where you can at least get some sort of free healthcare. Like this is like where they're like riding their defense. Like this is like one of the first barriers. Is like, hey, we don't need to like dismantle the government of Israel or anything like that. We're not like, we don't need, how about we just call for a ceasefire and just call for peace and then we'll leave it at that. But can you really really trust Israel, a country that has never been held accountable for breaking any ceasefire that all of history? I forgot where I got this source from, but immediately 1949, a UN broker armistice agreement. Israel began violating the truce. 1956, 1967, 1973.
Yeah,
1982,
exactly right.
1988, 2001, 2001, 2002, 2011, 2008. There's plenty of more going onwards to 2012 and 2014 and 2019 that are not even listed here. And the ceasefire now that's the psyop. That is what is being sold to you in order to justify having this terrorist state to exist. That's what it is. You are being told to say ceasefire now because no one can justify at all saying we need to dismantle the state of Israel, which is really the only solution to this. If you really think about the history of Israel and what that, and I'm not saying kill everyone in Israel. I'm saying dismantle the government of Israel and hold Nuremberg type trials. That's what I'm talking about.
And yeah, Rick's 100% spot on. Ceasefire now, erase free Palestine completely. Like right off the mat. All of a sudden, everybody was saying, ceasefire now. Safe and effective. Sorry, wrong thing. But they were. I saw it change overnight.
Yeah. Now we can't say that anymore. Like that's what it is. Like they're removing slogans from you and they're planting new ones so that like that. This is what the Mossad does. This is narrative management 101. And ceasefire now from the beginning. I spotted that out. I'm like, what are we going to do with the ceasefire?
Yeah, what's going to happen?
Anything. Like if we're really putting our hope and trust in the Palestinian people, like we need to understand that this is a country that has never been held accountable in their lifetime.
Yeah,
this is a dangerous terrorist state, and I'm not like that's not even like that's not an exaggeration. That's not even close to an exaggeration. That's me being generous.
And I mean, here's the thing.
It's
Here's
safe
what
and
I think.
effective.
Here's what I
It's just
think
like
the
the
teal.
vaccine. The ceasefire now, it's safe and effective. That's like what you're being sold. Yeah, that's what you're being sold to.
Here's what I kind of think they're. Here's what I think the bourgeoisie are kind of really trying to do here. What I think ceasefire now is it's let's put a pause on this until we can distract you dumb fucking proles with something else, and then while you're distracted and you're not focusing on this, we'll just go back to doing our shit. I think that's all this is. I think that's all this ever has been. It's like, okay, well, ceasefire now can be just nebulous enough for it to mean whatever the fuck we want. There's no end resolution in sight for this. You're just calling for bad things to stop.
The UN's useless. They won't do anything.
But there's no prevention of bad things to happen in the
died.
future.
Over 100 UN workers died, and they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything.
They're just gonna blame Hamas. Like we know what's gonna happen here. Fuck.
Obviously, people are not exactly happy about this because it's not really a ceasefire. Again, it's a quote unquote humanitarian pause, which really translates to nothing. And of course, you have people who are outraged. Your classic American fucking privileged.
For Palestine and planet. Liberation. Palestine and planet. Hold the top. For Palestine. Free Palestine! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free! They're clean town!
I don't know if you've ever been put in handcuffs before. That shit, like that, sometimes they can really put you into fucking shit before. I've been arrested for weed before, granted in fucking New Jersey before it was legal.
To clarify, do you mean from a police officer or just put in handcuffs?
From a police officer, yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm saying, no, don't they tighten that shit to like the very like they I feel like they do it on purpose, 100%. Like they tighten the handcuffs and they make it purposely uncomfortable. Like
I imagine they probably
have you never gotten cuffs put on you?
I've had plenty of kerfuffles with the cops, but no, I'm not. Yes, I've had very tight handcuffs put on me before, but it wasn't by a malicious enforcer of the capitalist state.
Yeah, they make it very. That's unexaggerated.
Gotta get off! Everybody out of the way! On the side! On the side!
Back up! And this is like I just want to like highlight this for like the people who are saying like, oh, but this is like it's a Thanksgiving parade for kids. Like this that perfectly highlights the American corporate culture that we can't interrupt the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Oh, we need some decorum.
We need to celebrate our genocide. We can't.
You know what?
Your genocide. We're celebrating our genocide.
This is a point where I just can't hang with these people because, like, I'm the guy sitting here saying y'all didn't go far enough. This is a good start. It's a good start. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but it's not. It's not far enough. You have to disrupt capital.
Yeah,
that's what you gotta fucking do. If you're upset about something, you get in the way of the making of the profit. You will see shit start to happen really fucking soon. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Regardless of your position on the trucker convoy, okay, those vaccine mandates went away really fucking quick after that. Ignore everything our state-owned, by the way, media tells you. up here in Canada. Those mandates went away real fucking quick the second that convoy it started disrupting capital. That's what you need to do. So this is good. It's a good start. But if you really want people to start paying the fuck attention here, you have to do some stuff that gets in the way of the rich and powerful maintaining their control and maintaining their profits. That's how you get them. And yes, as you said, to your credit, general strike, shit like that. The proles need to be like, we're not going to work for you anymore. We're not going to slave away and make your we're not going to give you any more surplus value to extract from us until you stop doing this shit over here. That's what needs to happen. That's the only way we're going to be able to do this. That's the only way anyone's going to pay attention. Because, you know, you go into a parade, you disrupt it, great. You get some coverage, but they're just going to arrest you and then they're going to keep the parade going, right? It's not, you're like, the people in power know they're doing shitty shit. And here's the thing. The reason why the people in power know they're doing shitty shit is because they wouldn't be spending so much money and time and resources on the propaganda if they didn't realize they were doing shitty shit. So they're aware they're doing shitty shit. So when you're going here and you're making a stand like this, I stand in solidarity with you. I do respect you. But at the end of the day, they're watching. They know people don't like it. What you need to do is force them into a position where they have to do something about it because it is getting in the way of their prime aims. And their prime aims are always control and profit. Sorry, rant off. Thank you for coming to my my snow talk. My snow talk. Yeah.
But I'm proud of these protesters too. I still think it's like regardless action to show support, I think is genuine and good. But you're right in that we have to be attacking capital mostly because that's the only thing that they care about. But it's this white comfort bubble that really like fucking like everyone is just like, oh, but not. I saw a tweet from Michael Tracy too. It was like, so oh, but like you can't. But you know, this is bad optics. This is not going to look good. You know, we can't make the white people. You know, you can't make the white people uncomfortable. You know, we have to have their kids celebrate the fucking corporate balloons that they see every year.
Won't somebody please think of the balloons? Oh, there it is right there. Oh my God.
And surprisingly, people in Israel are actually not too happy with Israel with Netanyahu, with Israel themselves.
Bro,
I imagine this is like a mix of people. Like this is like, I imagine there's people who are like, yes, like October 7th wasn't good, but like we probably shouldn't be killing so many kids and women for no reason. And there's also like a group of people who like it's sort of like a different party of who are just like against Netanyahu in terms of like government. I mean, I told this person, the Zionist at this Thanksgiving party that I went to over Thanksgiving that I mentioned earlier. I was like, Israel's having a civil war right now, and I showed her this video, and she's like, no, they're not. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I'm hearing all over over news, like well, not like everywhere, but you know, like independent news, like all about like Israel's like civil, like about how like it's a very divided country right now, and this doesn't seem like, you know, a lot of the people are together on this. I mean, well, they seem together, but like against their own government. Look at this massive crowd, hundreds of thousands.
Well, the thing is, like, holy fuck. This is one of those things where it's not exactly hard for a normal, well-adjusted person to be like, okay, this is objectively bad, and I'm just gonna not be for the objectively bad thing. This isn't like a gray area like all of the popular talking heads are desperately trying to convince you. A lot of people are probably just looking at this and being like, okay, this is actually really fucked up. We need to not do this. Like it's a no shit moment, really. And the fact that, you know, there's so many people who are refusing to acknowledge how much of a no shit moment it is, like I said before, just a testament to the power of tribalism, especially in the West.
So this is really interesting. This is an Israeli, right outside the home of Benjamin Netanyahu. This is one of the interviews that were caught outside.
Never, for one single moment in my life, have trusted this man. I think he's a psychopath. I think he's a lunatic. Not just I think that. Lots of people. I would never trust him with anything. Not him, not his government. That's all I have to say. They are dangerous people. They're extremists, they're fascists, they're racists, they're fanatics. They don't want peace. They want war because it serves their own self-interest. While most of the people on both sides, you know, Israelis, Palestinians alike, they are the people who pay the price. They are the ones who suffer. They are the ones whose lives are lost while they keep the power in their hands. Netanyahu is just like Donald Trump, just like...
We're paying for their healthcare right now, by the way.
Milosevic, just like Hitler. These people will do everything to keep power in their hands, and they don't care if everything else crumbles. They can destroy everything just as long as they remain in power. Just like Hitler, he told the German people, you're not worthy of living, because if I go down, you go down with me. Same thing with him. Some people in Israel are so disturbed that they think if you simply say you're sad about loss of life, of innocent people, of children, that makes you a traitor, because as long as they're not Jewish, you mustn't say that. This is sick. I refuse. I will never ever change. I'm first of all a human being. I am for life, and I don't care if a child is from Gaza or from Tel Aviv or from I don't care where, from Istanbul or New York. A child is a child is a child, period. And this is the most important thing in the world.
So the genocide continues, folks. There's no sign of stopping. But, you know, inside of in show support, our favorite free speech warrior, Elon Musk, found the time to show his support for the genocidal maniac.
Fucking diddle me Elmo up in there.
Mr. Elmo, who banned me for a month and a half. Oh, I have some words to say to this guy.
I love how you're still spicy as fuck about it. I love it.
And you know what? Given that it was like only a month and a half, you would think like, hey, you know, that Greg, that wasn't that bad. Maybe you shouldn't be so spiteful. But you know
I'd
what?
be pissed
He's a
too.
billionaire fuck, and he hasn't worked for a fucking dime in his life. So fuck him. And now he's going to Israel. So fuck. I don't really trust that he's like really supports Israel. I think there's tapes on him personally.
Yeah,
But
he's got a body shaped like a RuneScape character. So there's that.
Well, we gotta watch this because this is he's the way he like his mannerisms are so strange.
Last night, some of them returned home. Not home yet, but returned to Israel. And most of them were kidnapped from the houses open to them here. Is when the terrorists infiltrated.
Look at the way that he walks. He looks like that? Why is he walking? Oh, because it's raining?
Into the kibbutz itself.
What is happening, my dude? How down bad are we today? Oh my god. My man walking like it's Resident Evil here. My man walking like a fucking he's walking like an EverQuest character, for Christ's sake. Jesus Christ. What is he's pork chicken? What is this?
He's got to be pork chicken. Look at the way it look. I gotta highlight this. Holy shit!
Oh,
let's talk about this. No one's talking about this, man. Why is he walking like that?
Infiltrated into the kibbutz itself.
Oh my god!
And now he's walking normal again.
Saying, like, you can tell this man. I don't think he really wants to be here. I don't think that he truly is like interested in being here. I think there's tapes on him. I think they're threatening. They're definitely threatening to pull a bunch of $1 million of ads on him. And They already got a picture of him, Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean, I'm sure there's dirt on him. He was acting like a fucking 3-year-old on Twitter like a couple years ago. Like,
Well, it's not just that. I mean,
in the closet for sure.
people need to look into who he does business with. Like, all they have to do is nudge him enough and be like, listen, it would be really good for business if you did this thing or did that thing. Look at who's fucking has contracts with. That's all I'm saying, people. Like,
the Pentagon, it's pretty obvious. I mean,
it's follow the money.
On his way back, he noticed several terrorists that were right over.
There's a difference between awkward person and strange chicken turkey hybrid humanoid.
It's a symbol in kibbutz. You have kids inside, the mothers and the fathers running around with it, but it's holding shells.
Okay, there's
come
the.
on. Now,
Did they just drop them on the?
Do you believe that Elon really buys that?
Okay, hold on. Did they just drop bullets on the floor of the crib and then they just carried it over?
That's how shitty the IDF propaganda is. That's how shitty it is.
And we're buying this. Everybody's just huddling around a crib with some scary stuff on the floor. And it's like, look, this is why.
Yep. That's what we're doing. I do that's why so Elon's smart enough to win a game of StarCraft. I think he's smart enough to know this is a load of bullshit. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
No, I think I think here's the thing. I will always say this about people who are as rich as Elon. These people don't have the same interests. They don't have the same goals as you or I.
They're mostly self-interested. Yeah.
They look at the world differently. So even if he's we don't know this whole Twitter thing with the whole I'm going to be the savior of Twitter, blah, blah, blah. This could all just be for his ego. It could all be to obtain narcissistic supply. He could all be doing this just because he likes the adoration and the praise, which comes from being probably a cluster B of some type humanoid.
I don't know I think he's an alien, probably cyborg. He's probably got a couple of chips in him already.
He could be a Viltrumite. It's possible he could be a Viltrumite.
He's half AI or something.
That was used here in order to protect the people.
This is why there's tapes on him. He's not here. He doesn't want to be here.
All right, now if you go over here, we're gonna go to the next Bethesda game prop we've set up. Go over. This is what the fuck is this? This is like a tour? What are we doing?
He got an exclusive fucking tour to
what is this? Pirates of
propaganda. I don't know what they're doing.
What is this? The Pirates of the Caribbean ride? Except
I don't know. A lot of
pirateers
these houses,
of the IDF.
Remember, a lot of these houses were destroyed by Israeli tanks from Israeli tanks and helicopters. Remember that. There's a lot of evidence. I don't have that in the PowerPoint today, but
hey, Elon, check out all the shit we blew up.
Hey, Elon, look at all the shit that we did and blamed it on someone else.
Can you believe this? Look how good our weapons are. Maybe that's it. Maybe just give
oh my god, bullet! Oh wow!
Oh no, there's
holes out an iPad.
Oh fuck! It's an iPad. It's over. It's over now. How is this convincing anyone of anything? Exactly. It shouldn't be. Nobody should be convinced of anything. This is a toddler sort of understanding.
No one is actually convinced of anything. It's a matter of where your emotions are.
And tribalism. It's
people
are you on the team? Oh, we need you to prove that you're on our team. How can we trust that you're actually on our team and not one of those bad communists in the Biden? I can't even say that was.
I love how you said it like that. The communists.
the evil Biden communists that are trying to establish a dictatorship of the proletariat somehow.
What are they showing him here? Dear Elon Musk, Did they show you the Israelis who were killed by Israeli soldiers at the festival on October 7th? Those who died because of Netanyahu's government? The Jews who protested Netanyahu and were imprisoned by Israeli prisoners for all this? Did they show you the children they killed in Gaza? The Palestinians they imprisoned? The Gaza they tried to destroy? Or were they trying to impress you by showing things they wanted you to see? If empathy is to be done, you should be doing it for everyone who died. One-sided empathy prevents you from seeing the facts. He's not going to listen to you.
He's probably just like, listen, bro, I get it, but I can't lose these contracts, man. I cannot. These are
it's
all
of these billionaires they have blackmail on them. It's either blackmail or they're like threatening to pull advertisers and threatening to pull his money away. It's either the money or he's got something embarrassing on him. That's the two things. What could you possibly be telling them?
No, not the Allahu Akbar. Oh, shit.
Keep loading, we'll show you. And they're beating the other boy.
What could they possibly be doing?
That's the bomb shelter.
Shit, they showed part of a road. Greg, I'm sorry, bro. I'm convinced now. I'm gonna go sign up.
Allahu Akbar, that means terrorist, right?
I'm gonna go fight for the IDF tomorrow.
What does Allahu Akbar mean in English? That means we're gonna kill all the Jews, right?
Yeah, it definitely does. And it's definitely something that you start a video out with. Like, that's the first thing. That's normal human conversation, right? You just scream Allahu Akbar. Yeah.
I think so too. I think
this is all very convincing. I am sold.
I think this is cold, hard facts that we're delivering, and Israel's a very trustable partner that we can deliver to. But here's friend, Fiorella Isabel. Netanyahu and Elon Musk met, and Bibi labeled Hamas Nazis and a death cult. Musk supported these statements, were in protest in favor of Palestine, saying they're in favor of Hamas. Bibi then said Israel and Arab countries must demilitarize, de-radicalize, and rebuild Gaza. Let's see Mr. Anti-establishment free speech.
Okay, how are they being trained to have these to believe that murdering and having joy at the death of civilians is a good thing, and to stop that training?
It's like the IDF. We could stop the IDF from doing that.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, because we have first a mission to destroy Hamas. Nothing's going to stop that, because if you want peace, destroy Hamas. If you want security, destroy Hamas. If you want a better life for the Palestinians in Gaza who've been hijacked by Hamas, destroy Hamas. All of that is a precursor to the question that you asked. You first have to get rid of the poisonous regime, as you did in Germany, as you did in Japan, in World War II. These were two.
There's no choice. There's no choice.
So that's a prerequisite.
Yes. No
but then look at what happened. I mean, what you had in Germany was denazification, and what you had in Japan under Douglas MacArthur was a cultural reformation. And Japan that you visit today is so different from Japan of the 1930s. Germany that you visit today is so different from Germany of the 1930s. Well, is that possible in the Arab world? And I categorically say, of course it is, because we've seen it already in two places. We've seen it in the Gulf states, and we see that when you visit Dubai or when you visit Abu Dhabi or when you visit Bahrain, you see something entirely different. There was, in fact, a cultural change there. And let me say that same thing is, in my opinion, happening to a considerable extent in Saudi Arabia. The de-radicalization of these Muslim countries, these Arab countries, some of it already took place, some of it is taking place. But there's another country with a substantial Arab minority where that is already taken place, and that's called Israel. 20% of our citizens are Arabs, most of them Muslim. They serve on, in high places in the academy, in the Supreme Court, in the Knesset, and so on. And I'm not saying that there isn't some radicalism there, but mostly there isn't. And in fact, they're integrated into the society. So we have to do the same thing. We have to demilitarize Gaza after the destruction of Hamas, and we have to de-radicalize Gaza, and that will take some time, especially work on the mosques and on the schools. That's where children are, imbibe their values. And then we have to also rebuild Gaza, and I hope to have our Arab friends help in that context.
Yeah.
So you have that there. This was Elon's trip right after. This is what he said right after. This was today. Actually, listen to this conversation.
It was jarring to see the scene of the massacre, or one of the scenes of the massacres, as well as to see the short film afterwards that showed more of innocent people getting killed.
The fake. So he was convinced by that crib with a couple bullets straight on top of it, right?
It was seeing that crib with several props on it was really what sold me on the deal. And then when they showed the ceiling, with dots on it, that's what really just sent me over the edge. I couldn't sleep for nights after that. Fuck me. This is baby shit. Like, they're asking adults to believe baby shit.
And
fucking
he's buying
pablum.
Mr.
This
Baby
is
Starcraft.
pablum open. Here comes the airplane. Here comes your bullshit. Like, they're asking us to have toddler brains with this shit. They're not even trying. They're not even trying. They're not even trying something new. Okay, I'm sorry, that video. Remember that video? Okay, they turn it on. Allahu Akbar. It's 2003 all over again. It's the same shit. Exact same shit. Someone's yelling Allahu Akbar.
The whole game plan was trying to invoke the 9/11 emotion in Americans so that they could. I'm pretty sure there's an IDF document that they say that, right?
Which is so fucking stupid because it's like everybody realizes that was bullshit.
Everyone sees through the bullshit, and it's so it's pathetic. It's honestly sad. It's sad,
bro. You can't psyop people and then bring them back to a previous psyop after they realize that was a psyop like 20 years ago. Are you high?
That's why I don't think Elon is. I think he's smart enough not to know, that this is a load of bullshit. There's tapes on him. He's got pictures with Ghislaine Maxwell, dude. The dude's got skeletons in his closet, 100%.
I'm sure he's smart enough.
A freak. He 100% is.
I'm sure he's smart enough. The thing is, again, I don't think he cares. It's not in his interest.
That's what it is.
The ruling class has
partial interest, but it's self-interest. It's mostly based on protecting his own image and protecting his brand, protecting his advertisers.
Also, these motherfuckers have better class solidarity than we ever have.
Yeah.
Okay. These people do have class solidarity. He will stick his neck out for another member of the bourgeoisie class before sticking his neck out for hundreds of thousands of dirty proles. Okay, that's how these people operate. They actually do have solidarity. And if you ever doubt that for a second, ask yourself, why is Trump still not in jail? Because these fuckers have class solidarity. The end.
The joy experienced by the people that were killing innocent civilians, including kids and babies and defenseless people, essentially. So,
who was doing that?
It's one thing if civilians die accidentally, but if it's another thing to revel in the joy of killing civilians. That's not what? That's evil. I mean, the rebuttal is often made that Israel has killed civilians, also in Gaza. But there's an important difference here, which is that Israel tries to avoid killing civilians, doing it.
Okay, so
what?
Because they can just say we're trying not to kill them, that makes the killing okay on this side, and then the killing on this side is absolutely not okay. Without any context. And here's the thing: there's no input from the other side. There's no consideration for the other side whatsoever. So consider what you guys saw earlier with how Hamas treated those hostages, right? The statements from Israel officials commenting on how Hamas treated the civilians, and then look at what this fucking overgrown microwaved marshmallow of a human is fucking saying right here when he's like, yeah, well, you know what? Israel tries to do good. It's like, but you're throwing out so much shit over here just to pick this narrow ass lane to drive down, Mr. Brick Head person.
Rewind the stream.
With fake hair.
We showed 9 times Israel broke ceasefires in the last few decades. This is an unaccountable country, yet they're trying to avoid. They want peace. Of course they do.
Everything it can to avoid killing civilians, and there's not sort of joy expressed. I mean, it was troubling to see massive protests in almost every major city in favor of Hamas, they generally characterize it as sort of a Free Palestine movement, and I think
they're trying to characterize. They're trying to character. This guy is such a fucking expired coupon. Jesus Christ! They're trying to characterize it as a Free Palestine thing, but it's secretly Hamas. That's all they have. They're just like, I don't care about any reality other than like making sure that everybody understands that Hamas and Palestine are the same when it suits my interests, and also vastly different when it doesn't. Because they're doing both of those things at the same time. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth, but we can't see because he's bent over in a weird penguin stance when he walks. So, fuck this
EverQuest character.
Goddamn sweaty EverQuest character with way too much money. I don't believe his body's real. I think his body
He's gotta retire, man. He's gotta be.
I don't think this guy's real. I think he's AI generated. I think it was a beta.
He's got a couple neural links in him already. It's like I said, he's already got a couple chips in him. It's over. Like he's half cyborg already. I think half of him is already operating on AI, and the half of him that's like still his like original personality is blackmailed. So of course he's going to support Israel. So I mean, like, dude, this guy is like.
One can generally agree that we want a good future for Palestinians, and we want to, I mean, the challenge is really how do you, get rid of the ones who are hell-bent on murdering Jewish people, while minimizing civilian casualties, and then ultimately stopping the sort of propaganda that is convincing people to engage in murder.
I want everyone to understand that this will translate, that this is going to translate into pro-Israel censorship on Twitter. You can expect that happening in the coming months. I want this to be based around that concept of like, after this, you can say goodbye. Twitter was already bad enough as it was. Now you can expect the Israeli Hasbara machine on overdrive. Just expect it to come on Twitter at least, or X, whatever.
So that at the end of the day, that's really essential. Is to figure out, okay, how are they being trained to have these, to believe that murdering and having joy at the death of civilians is a good thing, and to stop that training. Yeah, it's important to pair firmness in taking out the terrorists, those who wish or intent on murder, and then at the same time to then help those who remain, which is also what happened in Germany and Japan.
Exactly right.
It's interesting because this is quite a rare thing in history. Usually the victor pillages the loser, and if you look at after World War I, the Treaty of Versailles was a big mistake, and it created immense bitterness in Germany. And it's part of what led to World War II. And then World War II, that people realized, listen, we actually need to rebuild the economies, and instead of punishing them. And so, you had the rebuilding of Japan, rebuilding of Germany and much of Europe. And
they already dropped the equivalent of 2 atomic bombs on Gaza. We already have the idea of documents where like they reveal they basically want to nuke the fuck out of Gaza and create a canal so that they have easier exports out of oil. Basically, Israel. We saw the documents. I'm pretty sure Colin and Reef covered about how the gas and oil reserves in Gaza, and about how Israel wants to be the new the new energy exporter. That's what it is. That's what they mean by rebuilding. 15-minute city shit, Maui, the tiny homes, the fucking Ukraine with the DARPA app or whatever. It's all the same thing. Rebuilding, sustainability, it's all covered in these words, these nice words.
And then we've had peace and prosperity for a long time. Those who are intent on murder must be neutralized. Then the propaganda must stop. That is training people to be murderers in the future, and then
propaganda,
and then making Gaza prosperous. And if that happens, I think it will be a good future.
These people's homes are destroyed. It takes years, like decades, to build their homes.
Are we sure this is even? Are we sure this is even Elon? Did the IDF just like use an AI to like?
This is him with President Herzog. He met the whole family. He's all in.
Now he looks like a World of Warcraft character. What the fuck, bro? He's transforming through the ages of
That's why I think he's
multiplayer.
a cyborg. He literally transforms into like his figure.
Look at this GoldenEye. Look at this GoldenEye DK mode bitch sitting here.
DK.
Like,
Kong.
Bro, what is happening?
There's no choice but to kill these who insist on murdering civilians.
It was certainly been a day, I would say an emotionally difficult day, to see the places where people were murdered. I just did a talk with the Prime Minister, and I think obviously there are three things that need to happen in the Gaza situation. I mean, there's no choice but to kill those who insist on murdering civilians. There's no choice. They're not going to change their mind. And then the second thing is to change the education so that a new generation of murderers is not trained to be murderers. And then the third thing, which is also very important, is to try to build prosperity. It was
so Elon Musk looks like what happens when you like load up the character selection screen and then you just click random a bunch of times, like 10 or 11 times. That's what Elon Musk looks like.
like you set the width like all the way up.
Yeah, Elon is max sliders on every category, and then you just select 0 for the hairstyle.
Michael Rappaport had a day of joy over this.
Israel got a tour of the kibbutz, got a tour of the areas.
I hate this guy so much.
He is another like thumb looking.
He's a thumb that like this is.
He is a thumb with blue eyes. He is a blue-eyed thumb. They need to create another entry in the human
the
classification.
Human character select.
Thumb. He is so thumb-like. If you saw him as a cop, you wouldn't blink. You'd be like, "That's a cop." He has the right some of thumb qualities to him. Anyway, let's.
That were attacked on October 7th. So many people, regular people, friends of mine, journalists, have been to Israel. Why hasn't anybody gone to Gaza? Why hasn't Hamas given tours to Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, anybody, Sean Penn, me, anybody? Why hasn't Hamas invited Anderson Cooper to show the damage that's been done to Gaza? Why don't they show the hospitals? Show what's at the bottom of the tunnels. Is it just a storage area where you store like some old comic books?
This is not a bad idea. Elon should go to Gaza. He should go to Gaza and check it out himself. See all the terror and destruction that your tax dollars are going towards. Well, he doesn't pay that.
Yeah, but but this is okay. This is an interesting bit of propaganda too. They could be absolutely offering to do this, and all these people have to do is ignore them. even if we're ignoring all the other problematic aspects of these fucking things, like there's, I don't know, like a fucking conflict going on in that area right as we speak. Even
No,
despite all that, all they have to do is just ignore them. Hamas could go up to them and say, "Hey, we'd like to show you that, like a lot of what you're saying about us isn't true. We'll have people here, we'll do this, we'll do that." All they have to do is ignore it and just keep lying. That's it. That's all they need to do. They have the bigger platform, they have more people they can reach, and it's gonna fucking work. Why? Because douchebags like this guy has
They have
much
a platform
farther.
because they have a bunch of followers. That's what it is.
Yeah.
More materials. Show what's at the bottom of the tunnels. Show what's really going on. Prove to the world that there was nothing fishy, nothing shady, no bombs, no military operations at the bottom of those tunnels. I'm sure Joe Rogan, Sean Penn, Anderson Cooper, Andy Cohen, Andy Griffin, anybody would love to get a tour. Hamas, where is Hamas?
Hey, listen,
where are you
motherfucker.
guys?
First and foremost,
where are the leaders of Hamas?
If you can fucking stop making one eye look at me and the other eye look at my ear for a second, okay? There's
It's already
look, that is trippy. Anyway, my fucking problem with this with this dipshit here, first and foremost, is that he's going on and on and on about, oh, why can't you prove to us that there are no atrocities? Hey, dipshit, you're on Twitter like 28 hours a day.
He retweets it.
Okay? You can see it. There's things happening being committed by the side you're simping for right fucking now. And you're dead silent, not a peep on that, or coping in some various form, pretending it's some kind of elaborate conspiracy. And you're going to go on and on about like what Schrodinger's atrocities, like what might be at the bottom of these tunnels as children are being verifiably slaughtered. How do you sleep at night?
It's crazy. Like
how the fuck do you sleep at night? And how is half your face melting off the rest of your head, sir?
It's brainworm.
Fucking weird. Yeah, it's got to be brainworm. You know what it is? It's like has any y'all played Baldur's Gate 3? He's got the illithid tadpole. That's what's going on. It's in his eye right there. I can see it.
Ceasefire.
Mind controlled.
Show all the atrocities that have been done to you guys. You can't do it. You won't do it. Why? I want to know why. Why? Elon Musk, I'm sure he would love to go to Gaza. Give him a tour. Why won't it happen?
He's not going to. Why would he do that? First off, his contractors would very much not like that. And again, that's he's not going to just lose some of his biggest contractors.
I think Elon should go. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think Elon should go to Gaza and check it out. Just to sway. I mean, just to like, I know these people don't have hearts, but like, just to like show like at least something, like at least to see like firsthand, like all of the fucking absolute terror.
Well, the problem is he's playing, again, the tribalism. He knows that he has to play to the Chud team right now because the Chud team are the ones currently cosplaying as free speech until Orange Man gets back in office. And then it'll switch again. And then, there'll be liberals talking about free speech and the Chuds who are screaming for Daddy Trump to ban anybody who doesn't like him. It'll just keep, cycling on forever. But, he's got to play to the Chuds. He's got to be like,
Dude, this guy just learned yesterday or 2 days ago what Zionism is.
To be sorry. You got to warn me before you bring that up. That's got to be a big hot dog. I got to say. What the fuck? Bro, this is
he's going. This is the brain level of what we're dealing with. This is what we're
dealing with. He's going full Dash Dabrowski here. This is a Dash Dabrowski video. This is big news. Okay. This is absolutely big news.
Big news.
Big news.
I haven't seen what he's up to.
I had to stop. I was getting obsessed with him and it wasn't good for my mental health.
Gotta put him on the shit look tier list part 3. But this motherfucker.
He's the last boss.
He's one of the last Scott Pilgrim girlfriends.
Yeah.
but this motherfucker, he doesn't know what Zionism is. And let's be clear, to be a Zionist is yes, it's an inherently immoral thing, because to be a Zionist inherently involves ethnic cleansing and involving an ethno state. And the only time in history where an ethno state has been repeated is Nazi Germany. So I don't believe that you can have this pure, one religion, one one race state, and have it function normally as a normal society. It just doesn't happen like that. You create racist maniacs like this,
and you shouldn't ever want that to happen. Hold on,
you don't want to be like. Do you want to be like this guy?
Are we starting? Are we really starting with the Joker laugh?
Yes. If you support Israel, you support Joe Biden, and you support this guy.
You support the Joker.
Woo! That's what you're supporting with Zionism. Okay, just to be clear.
Why do they all think this is a good look?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Woo! Oh man, you think calling me a Zionist is an insult? You think that's something that people get offended by? You think that that hurts our feelings? Being a Zionist simply means that you believe in the right for Israel to exist.
No, it doesn't.
No, it's never meant that.
It doesn't.
You fucking weird laughing.
He doesn't even know what it actually. So Zionism is the belief in the pure Jewish ethno state. That is what Zionism is. It's not just for the state. So for the state of Israel to exist, that means you believe in an ethno state. And I talk to people all the time. They're like, oh, but the whole big face in the save is like the Holocaust, and they're constantly bringing it up, and they'll use it as like a defense to be like, oh, but where are the Jewish people supposed to go? Fucking back to Brooklyn or like East Europe or like everywhere else that they came from.
Go to Canada. We have 3 cities, and the rest of the country is just empty. There's plenty of room. You can go there.
A lot of them come from Arab countries too. They come from Arab countries. They come from Poland. They come from Germany, a lot of Italy, and you got to see. Like, I got to show that one time that there's the video, the Abby Martin documentary. They show like they interview a bunch of people, and they're like, all of them are like from like different countries, and like none of them are like originally from, because they're not old enough, because their country is younger than them.
You don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist. You don't even have to agree with the governmental policies of Israel to be a Zionist. You could be Christian to be a Zionist. You could be a Muslim and be a Zionist. This is not an insult. You call me a Zionist, I go, and bitch, that does not hurt my feelings. Being a Zionist simply means that we believe in the right for Israel to exist. And if you don't believe in the right for Israel to exist, you're a sick fuck.
What?
You're a sick fuck, you dumb, uneducated, newfound, rape-supporting, kidnap-supporting, murderous, terrorist-supporting motherfuckers. This is not an insult.
We're walking through the talking points now.
It's like a term of endearment. Zionists are proud to be Zionist. Dingbat?
Dingbat?
That's a new one.
Oh, wow. Like, Dingbat, you really got me.
No,
you know why they don't support Zionism? Because they're afraid.
This man's out here battling like 16-year-olds on TikTok every day. This is like all he does. And like he has the money.
This man's out here battling cerebral
He's in
palsy.
Hollywood with all the rest of the Zionists who are currently firing people who are supporting Palestine. I just want everyone to know.
Honestly, if he just like, to me, he's just screaming about the unvaccinated, and it's just a different thing. It's the same.
It's the same thing.
It's the same energy. It's the same energy. It's just like, why don't you believe the thing? I'm gonna get mad at you in this video. so fucking these
this is the
boomers.
current
I swear to
thing.
God. Why don't you buy the current thing? Why don't you believe our propaganda? And by the way, if you guys aren't following Jory Mika, this lady goes
This
fucking
account never misses.
hard.
Okay, she
Yeah.
retweets all the best stuff. She
No,
knows
she-
what she's talking about. She's
And I'm
a
not-
she's a young a Catholic lady. So she good account to follow if you're on Twitter. But they're all owned, all of them, including this bitch right here. This
Yeah,
bitch
sorry.
who's out fucking. She sold all the RFK people. I hate to sell them out again, but
Well, at least you finally found a symmetrical face for this show, Greg. I appreciate it. After 2 hours of melted World of Warcraft
Zionist
EverQuest
crap.
character.
This is this is the best you can get. This we're ending the show with this with Tulsi Gabbard. At least this fucking witch, this fucking what are they called?
What?
Like the demon, like the succubus,
Succubi?
The succubus, is that what it's called?
Could be a succubus. Yeah, that's a type of
that's the word.
type of abyssal demon.
We're just cycling through World of Warcraft enemies now.
Yeah.
Like, this is it, folks. The government, we have a Zionist occupied government. The media is bought by the Zionists. The government is owned by the Zionists.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, including many of the companies that you're currently using on a daily basis, are full of the Zionists. They own it. They own all of it. And you're not a part of it. So expect more censorship on Twitter. Expect more censorship everywhere. I'm not sure where this ends. I think we're almost 50 days in. So we already know, in summary, we're the ceasefire psyop. Hopefully this wakes everyone up that this is just not. This is not going to end in any way that we want it to unless Israel is dismantled as a state. And that's not genocidal rhetoric. That is not genocidal rhetoric. That simply means you either choose to live with the Arabs or you leave. That's it. That's all that means. That doesn't mean you die. But a lot of them are armed and choose to join the IDF. Or I think if you're living there, you have to be part of the IDF, but that was a show for today, folks.
That was the show for today, and most importantly, expect more EverQuest characters. We should. Oh yeah, right. First and foremost, we should actually find a bunch of different clips. That would be a funny thing to cover. Just different weird shit that Elon's doing. Like weird walking and
you can make a video
him doing the weird just that'd be funny.
If you could find a GIF or anything that resembles him walking like that, I'll put the two together on a video and I'll post it. Okay.
All right.
So if you can find anything that looks like that, like him walking like that character, I'll put it like that. But
all right. Well,
yeah. Be sure to like and comment, subscribe. Like we said earlier, we were demonetized because we were pro Hamas. Basically, that's basically what YouTube said. You said we're too pro Hamas to get super chats or be any advertising or do anything for throwing 3 advertisements on our videos. So thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for everyone who joined from RBN. You can always rewind the stream and watch it later. But
yep. And a couple quick plugs. We will be back this week with Nobody Wants to Work Anymore, as I have fixed my scuff to fuck computer. And I do have a bit of a surprise for everybody. If anybody's hanging out on Saturday or Friday or Saturday, I'll post it on my Twitter. Please follow me there. But I'm going to be planning on doing kind of a cozy gaming stream.
Cozy Saturday.
Yeah, first stream I'm hosting on INN, and I'll be checking out Project Quorum, which is a new private server that a lot of top streamers are checking out. Old school EQ. And you know, if that's good and we all had a good time, then we could check out some more shit like the new Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous DLC. Monsters and Mysteries is a really cool upcoming MMO. I plan on doing a stream on that, so we'll see. But thanks so much, everybody, for checking us out.
Yeah, we also got American Tradition and INN News coming up this week. It's a pretty packed week, folks. I'm pretty sure Tara's going to be on again. How did we miss that? So again, thanks for everyone for joining out. Great
Exploded this week, like Elon's torso, because he's an EverQuest character. Anyway.
All right. Have a good night.